See, this is the Khuller, fine. It is so thick. So you should study this thick book या no? No, you should not study it. कुछ chapters में बोलूँगा वो prelim से पहले करके जाना. Fine, Indian geography के. It will help you immensely in prelims. For optional, just use this book as a reference. Reference means what we will do today, cottage industry. एक बार फट से cottage industry अगर time मिला तो go through this book. Indian geography Khuller. Fine. There are 3 books of Indian geography Khuller, Indian geography R.C. Tiwari, Indian geography Majid Hussain. All 3 are good books. कोई भी ले लो. I will prefer Khuller because R.C. Tiwari is high level, Khuller is intermediate, Majid Hussain sir ki book is only meant for UPSC. This is recommended in universities. Fine. And right now Khuller is in your panel. Insider news. Khuller is in your panel. Savindra Singh is not in your panel. Savindra Singh was in your panel till 2015. Look at the changes in the questions. 2015 के बाद human geography has become more important because Savindra Singh is no longer in the panel of UPSC. Khuller is in the panel of UPSC as it is questions आते हैं Khuller में से. Getting it? So this book is very good book. It is extremely factual book. जैसे मैं कहूँगा वैसे ही पढ़ना. Industry का chapter overview. Fine. पूरा देखना है सिर्फ headings. If any heading is there, for example, I will take 6-7 iron and steel industry का plant, but heading में दिया होता है 8th iron and steel industry का plant, तो वो सिर्फ अपने notes में incorporate कर लेना. इसको पढ़ते बैठोगे तो you will go. It is 1078 pages का book. You will go mad. Means really you will go mad. Fine, but then should you buy this book? Yes, it will help you immensely in GS also. Fine, and इसमें से hardly 20% पढ़ना होता है. If you don't want to buy it for GS, buy it for optional. If you don't want to buy it, or even after buying you don't want to refer it for GS, just type PMFIS. And PMFIS का Indian geography का notes are as it is Khuller के notes. Fine. Those who are not my students, those who are my students, just do the notes. My notes are also Khuller ka notes. Fine? In GS. We'll do cottage industry and the factors affecting location of the Indian industries today. And we'll do the historical development of the Indian industries. These are the 3 topics we are going to do today: cottage, iron and steel, historical development of Indian industries. Tomorrow we are going to do the remaining parts of the industries, and day after tomorrow we are going to do tourism and start with a new chapter. Fine? So, इसमें first topic is the historical development of the industries. So, can you tell me historical development of the industries? Do this topic even for GS. How the historical development of the Indian industries have occurred. Secondly, do this topic for prelims की जो facts पे मैं focus करूँगा regarding the historical or evolution of the Indian industries. Can I say evolution of the industries, Indian industries can be divided into 3 phases? Pre-independence, after independence, post-independence, and then post-LPG reforms, post-LPG reforms. These are the 3 phases. Pre-independence की Indian industries, light थोड़ी बंद कर. Post-liberalization and before liberalization का Indian industries. So before I begin, tell me historical development में before independence कौन सी industries थी? Cotton industry. टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री, आयरन एंड स्टील थी, फाइन. इकोनॉमिक्स, पूरा इकोनॉमिक्स है ये. आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्री, was it well distributed? Why was the need of iron and steel industry? ये वाला लाइट ऑफ कर दे, ऑफ कर दे, ज़्यादा ब्राइट हो रहा है, ऑफ कर. हाँ, इज इट फाइन और इज इट ब्राइट? इट्स ब्राइट, ब्राइट है. ये वाला बंद कर दे. So can I say the historical development of Indian industries was mostly due to British efforts? Because for the consolidation. British को याद रखो, did 1857 का revolt change any industrial outlook of India? कुछ फर्क पड़ा 1857 के रिवॉल्ट से इंडिया के इंडस्ट्रीज पे? नहीं. उसके बाद फॉर्मेशन ऑफ कांग्रेस से? नहीं. उसके बाद पार्टीशन ऑफ बंगाल से कुछ इंडियन इंडस्ट्रीज पे फर्क पड़ा था? यस. क्या फर्क पड़ा था? And the partition of Bengal during the British time, 1905 to 1912. Yes. So understand the first phase in the pre-independence era also, partition of Bengal. Partition of Bengal, as a result of which Swadeshi industries started coming up in different regions. Right? Because of the Swadeshi industries coming up in these regions, chemical industries came up, textile industries came up, and to support this, insurance and banking sector started developing in India. फिर आता है the India was an exporter of raw material या exporter of finished goods? India was the exporter of raw material. Fine. Then came World War I. Whether it is the World War I or World War II, Indian industries को बहुत ज़्यादा flip मिला. Flip मिला because there was war going on, and therefore the India, which was the supplier of raw material, started becoming the supplier of finished products in both the world wars, but it was given in the World War I. Fine. Similarly, in the World War II, engineering goods industry started coming up in India. And after the 1935 ka act, when the British government became more and more, you can say, similar to the democratic government or similar to the representative government, they started focusing on the industrial development as well as education for the industrial development in India, which was the first IIT which was established. Roorkee. क्यों? Yes. Why? It is मतलब dam construction या for giving the basic raw material, that is the skilled labor for the industrial development in India. इस बहाने से IITs were established by the Britishers. IIT Roorkee हो या कोई भी engineering colleges हो, they were established so that there can be a better understanding of the resources. This is what is the evolution of Indian industries. Topic is given in our syllabus. Whether the question will be asked, कल तक हमने देखा 2010 तक के सारे क्वेश्चंस देखे. I have not gone beyond that. अभी तक यहाँ से क्वेश्चन पूछा नहीं है. तो इसका यूज़ कहाँ पे होगा? इसका यूज़ होगा इन द इंट्रोडक्शन. कॉटन टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री के इंट्रोडक्शन में, आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्री के इंट्रोडक्शन में. Then you will come to the present phase in the body. Fine. We will apply Weber there कि raw material कहाँ से आ रहा है, etc. And then in the conclusion, unless it is not asked, even if it is not asked, you will write something that is happening in the current affairs. What is happening in the current affairs? Mega cluster scheme for the textile sector. Mega food park scheme for the agro processing industry sector. Getting it? Mega clusters. कल की न्यूज़ क्या है? कल की मतलब एक महीने पहले की न्यूज़ क्या है? एक महीने पहले की न्यूज़ है. Now there will be mega clusters even for the leather goods and shoes. अभी तक we were there only in the textile sector. So what is the prediction of the question? Now how to predict questions in Indian geography? Paper 2. Government comes with the mega clusters for leather. Question direct आएगा either on the distribution of textile industry or indirect आएगा what is the use of mega clusters in any industrial sector. Mega clusters. Mega clusters के आंसर में what you are going to bring Weber का which model? Mega clusters of the industries. Which model of Weber will come? Growth pole is not Weber. Transportation cost वाला या agglomeration effect वाला? Agglomeration effect. Getting it? It is very easy, this topic. Fine, industrial development in India. What has happened after post-liberalization? There is an end of license Raj. Right? So as a result of this, the growth pole, growth centers failed because companies started setting up as per the market, which has resulted into haphazard industrial development in India, with certain regions becoming so big कि India में primate city and rank size rule apply होने लग गए in the urban geography या rich and poor regions के बीच का gap बढ़ने लग गया, right? Post LPG reforms में, but ease of doing business भी बढ़ गया है. There has been more manufacturing sector also in India coming up. Getting it? But how is the manufacturing sector? See, take an example of how is the manufacturing sector. Yesterday in our building, in our apartment, a new watchman came. I asked him, ऐसे ही बात करने की आदत होती है शाम को, तो fine. So वाइफ ने मेरे हाथ में बेटा पकड़ा दिया, मैं उसको उठा के कहा, तो मैं उसको गेट के सामने बैठ के बात कर रहा था. I was asking him कि why is this first day? Because he asked me a question in English कि sir, is this odd even throughout the year or only in certain specific times odd even is followed in Delhi? I started looking at him. He is in. I said, is this your first day? He said, yes. From where you are? He said, I am from Shahjahanpur, UP. Why you are working as a watchman? बोलता कुछ नहीं, I am working in Vivo in Noida. बट बिकॉज कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल बेसिस है तो हमें एक महीने के लिए लीव दे देते हैं, अनपेड लीव. कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हमेशा 11 महीने का होता है, बिकॉज 12 महीने के लिए यू बिकम अ फिक्स्ड एम्प्लॉय. सो उनको एक महीने के लिए छुट्टी दे दी कंपनी ने. तो एक महीने करे क्या, सैलरी रेंट कहाँ से जॉब करे? तो ही इज वर्किंग फॉर 1 month एज अ वॉचमैन. हाउ, व्हाट इज हिज एजुकेशन? हिज एजुकेशन इज 10th पास. How he got a job in Vivo? Because he had enrolled in Skill India program. देखो positives भी है Skill India के. Understanding? Therefore, at least he is getting. But how much salary is getting as a? I said, why as a watchman? They were saying Vivo is paying us 18,000. As a watchman, I am getting 15,000. So 3,000 का ही तो फर्क है. Getting it? What should have been the real Skill India? कि Vivo would have taken him as a permanent person and given him a salary of 20-25,000. But वहाँ पे क्या किसकी ज़रूरत है? Labor reforms की. Vivo कहेगा, no, we will keep people in India. Vivo या any XYZ. Vivo is just an example. Vivo will say कि we will keep in India people on contracts, though we don't like it. Why? Because India में there are no labor reforms. They want labor reforms. They want hire and fire policy to come. हम डरते हैं hire and fire policy से कि अगर वो आएगा तो कंपनीज नौकरियां निकाल देगी. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. If you don't bring in labor reforms, तो कंपनीज ये backdoor entry देगी on the basis of contract. Not in the labor. इंजीनियर्स को कर सकती है hire and fire, but उसमें भी लेबर्स के लिए रूल हमेशा अलग होता है. Shubhra ma'am can make me work from morning 8 to night 9 o'clock. Fine, continuous labor, but she cannot make him work for more than 9 hours. Otherwise, Delhi government से fine होगा. Labor के लिए rule is different. Fine, understanding? पीएफ वो सब अभी समझ में आएगा कल के लेक्चर में. पीएफ वो सब में कुछ ये नहीं होता. सपोज यू आर पेइंग 10,000 rupees एज अ सैलरी एंड 2,000 एज अ पीएफ. 2,000 is expense of a company. Expense of a company, and now if the company is earning 20,000 rupees, fine. 10,000 is the salary, so उसका earning is 10,000 only. प्लस वो 2,000 एक्सपेंस कर रहा है इन पीएफ, सो उसका अर्निंग इज 8,000 ओनली कंपनी का. सो कंपनी इज इन लॉस, उसको इनकम टैक्स भरने की जरूरत नहीं. इनकम टैक्स रूल्स फॉर कंपनीज आर डिफरेंट, फॉर इंडिविजुअल्स आर डिफरेंट, फॉर कंसल्टेंट्स आर डिफरेंट, फॉर इंडिविजुअल्स आर डिफरेंट. गेटिंग इट? बट वो इकोनॉमिक्स के टर्म्स में मैं जाना नहीं चाहता. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ आई एम अर्निंग XYZ रुपीज, आई डोंट हैव टू पे इनकम टैक्स, which my friend is earning in the same amount in the company, in the corporates, because उसको salary मिलती है. और मैं कंसल्टेंट हूँ, तो मेरा रोज का आना जाना डीजल इज अ एक्सपेंस, फाइन, आई कैन क्लेम अ रिबेट. मेरे स्टेशनरी खरीदना इज एन एक्सपेंस, आई कैन क्लेम अ रिबेट. गेटिंग इट? मैं घर जाता हूँ, आई कैन क्लेम एन एक्सपेंस बिकॉज मैं बिजनेस मीटिंग के लिए जा रहा हूँ, जीएसटी नंबर, इट आई कैन क्लेम अ रिबेट. मैं कोई भी किताब खरीदता हूँ, खुल्लर इज एन एक्सपेंस. So my earning, this is not my earning. I am all doing this for professional reasons. Getting it? घर में एसी खरीदा, it is an expense, क्योंकि मेरे घर के अंदर एक मेरी छोटी बेडरूम है, which is my office, and उस ऑफिस के लिए मुझे काम करना है, so it is an expense. एक्सपेंस कहाँ नहीं है? सिर्फ कपड़े में. तो ऐसा नहीं गवर्नमेंट इतना ज़्यादा रिबेट देती कि मैं कपड़े पहन रहा हूँ क्योंकि मुझे काम करना है, फाइन, इट इज़ एन एक्सपेंस. ऐसा नहीं है, बाकी सब कुछ एक्सपेंस है. फ्रिज हो, टीवी हो, एवरीथिंग कैन बी एन एक्सपेंस. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? दैट इज वाई बिजनेस पकोड़े तलो कहते हैं, बिकॉज यू देन बिकम अ कंसल्टेंट एंड इट बिकम्स एन एक्सपेंस, राइट? सो हिस्टोरिकल डेवलपमेंट, 3 phases. 3 phases. Phase 1. Phase 1. Pre-independence. Pre-independence. It is divided into 2 phases. Traditional industrial phase and modern industrial phase. Pre-independence phases in India is of 2 types, traditional industrial phase and modern industrial phase. You already know traditional industrial phase 1854 तक था ट्रेडिशनल इंडस्ट्रियल फेज, when there was a development of handicrafts industry in India. India was industrial. Remember Robert Pete in radicalism. It is not that Europe is industrial, India or Asia was also industrial. So यहाँ पे we'll do this only in points. Focus of or most of the industries in the form of cottage and household industries. Cottage and household industries. Labor, industry and household was integrated. Understanding this statement, labor, household and industry was integrated. पोटर था, वो अपने आंगन में ही पोटरी बनाता था, and therefore role of woman was what? Dominant here. इसलिए एलिसन हेफोर्ड ने कहा था, with the coming up of capitalism, woman has been shifted to the boundaries. Why it declined? Due to British impact. I guess ये सबको पता है. There is no need of going into detail for this because ये history है, ये geography optional नहीं है. It declined due to the East India Company. Getting it? यहाँ से ऑप्शनल हमारा शुरू होता है. It started with establishment of cotton and jute industry in Mumbai and Kolkata. This should be your introduction. Examine the cotton textile industry in India. Introduction, the modern industrial phase in India started with the establishment of cotton and jute textile industry in India. Fine? Flow chart जैसा ही है. Then it was followed by India's first iron and steel plant at Port Novo, Tamil Nadu. Port Novo, Tamil Nadu. India's first iron and steel plant is at Port Novo in Tamil Nadu, जो बंद हो गया था. Remember, it over the period of time it closed. And do this properly for your prelims also. ये सारी चीजें. American Civil War. American Civil War. Suddenly increased the demand of textile from India. American Civil War, 1870s, American Civil War suddenly increased the demand of textile from India, especially cotton textile. (1874) India's first iron and steel mill India's first charcoal based iron and steel plant, Port Novo. India's first iron and steel mill was established at Kulti, Bengal, West Bengal. Kulti, West Bengal. (1908). India's first, 1908, Swadeshi movement plus development of railway infrastructure. Resulted into development of successful steel plant at Jamshedpur. So कौन सा इंडिया का first successful steel plant? Jamshedpur. successful. This has been your prelims में question 2014 में कि American Civil War resulted into increase in the demand for Indian textiles. True or false? True. Fine. ये questions आते हैं prelims में. These are all from NCERT. ये सब नहीं है खुल्लर में. This is from your 12th standard NCERT, Land and People. Fine. So ये करके जाना अच्छी तरह से. Jamshedpur. Why Jamshedpur? Just imagine. 1854 railway network increased. Railway in India was British undertaking या private undertaking? It was a private undertaking. Fine. Railway in India was a private undertaking, and because it was a private undertaking, they just wanted to connect exporting region port with interiors of India, and therefore over the period of time, railway developed from Chota Nagpur Plateau to Kolkata and Chota Nagpur Plateau to Mumbai. So the transfer of raw material started becoming very easy. Plus came the Swadeshi movement, and Swadeshi movement was at its peak during this time. So Britishers thought, why not put some iron and steel factory in the hand of Indian who is their friend, and that was Jamshedji Tata, and this resulted into establishment of Jamshedpur पे iron and steel industry. फिर ये first successful iron and steel, फिर ये बन गए over the period of time. This became बॉम्बे प्लान में आए, ये गांधीयन हो गए, वो बात अलग है, but it was always because of the British need the Indian iron and steel industry developed. Getting it? So अब कोई भी क्वेश्चन आता है iron and steel industry पे, start with the flow chart. ये सब लिखने की जरूरत नहीं, start with the flow chart. 1870, 74, 1908. फाइन. फिर लेके आओ वेबर, फिर बताओ जो डिमांड है क्वेश्चन का वो. फाइन. फिर बताओ करंट हैपनिंग्स विद द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन ऑफ आयरन एंड स्टील प्लांट. सिर्फ पास्ट ईयर पेपर पढ़ो और उसके हिसाब से आंसर बनाओ. डोंट गो बियॉन्ड दिस इन दिस चैप्टर. फाइन. नेक्स्ट, in the period between the two wars, same point, modern industries mein, Indian industries got boost. With India becoming the main supplier of World War में, both the world wars, I am combining both. India was the main supplier of what? Tell me option: silk, cotton, jute, iron and steel. किसका होगा? Silk, cotton, jute, iron and steel. Cotton and jute. Iron and steel नहीं. Iron and steel was in Russia, Germany, etc. This region. हमारे लिए टेक्नोलॉजी इतनी नहीं थी कि we will become the supplier of iron and steel. Silk war के समय कोई नहीं पहनेगा. Fine. So it is the cotton and jute. India became the main supplier of cotton. In fact, iron and steel industry को नुकसान हुआ था. Jute, हमारे पास टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं थी वेपन्स बनाने के लिए. जर्मनी था. Why they will import? See, import के लिए they will have to go through Suez Canal route, right? Suez Canal route was under war. कपड़े फिर भी humanitarian grounds पे चले जाएंगे, but iron steel कोई नहीं जाने देगा. Cotton, jute and liquor. India liquor industry got a sudden boost. उस समय a person who was a business from Karnataka established UB group, जो उसके बेटे ने फिर बर्बाद कर दिया. You can say, fine. इंडिया का सबसे बड़ा ग्रुप अभी भी है विजय माल्या का. but इसके father ने establish किया था UB group, because there was a sudden demand in the liquor industry. Liquor does not mean just drinking liquor, it means medicine wala liquor, it means industrial liquor also. Fine. So वो दिमाग में मत रखो, सिर्फ this thing here, nurses spirit for wounded. India was not having any pharma industry. Pharma industry is post-independence industry. That is why, for medicine only, liquor. But the production of other industries, including iron and steel industry, suffered due to lack of capital and labor. Capital and labor. Handicraft industry in India can be done by women. Liquor industry can be done by women. Men के लिए, iron steel के लिए you require labor, men, and उस समय conditions were very bad, and most of the men were soldiers of British fighting the World War. So iron and steel industry suffered. Getting it? Post-independence phase. After partition, jute and cotton textile industry, jute and cotton textile industry suffered a major blow because you already know why it suffered a major blow, jute and cotton textile industry. Raw materials went to either Bangladesh or Pakistan. Cotton growing regions in Pakistan, jute growing regions in Bangladesh, and producing regions remained in India, but political entity different हो गई. Fine? Because the producing regions went to Pakistan. Because the producing regions of both cotton and jute went to Pakistan. Went to Pakistan. Went to Pakistan. Understanding why we can write Pakistan? Because even Bangladesh was Pakistan at that time. Government realized the need of appropriate industrial policy and rapid development of industries along with goal of employment generation and balanced regional development. understand the meaning of this statement. We had the focus of employment generation, we had the focus of industrialization, we had the focus of poverty elevation. अब because optional है मैं ये सारी इतनी चीज़ें नहीं लिखवा सकता. And with that there has to be balanced regional development. So if this is the region, if we take up private sector, they will focus only on the regions जहाँ पे profit maximization होगा. If we take up the government sector, they will focus on all the regions, but they will not bring in technology. It will result into monopolistic resources, fine, and it will not bring in the capital also. Government के पास इतना ज़्यादा पैसा नहीं था after independence, कि we will become a socialist and a totally socialist state, a totally communist state. Communism requires money. You have to understand that. Money will come through agriculture, but unfortunately agriculture was in shambles. Industry development था ही नहीं इंडिया में. So government wanted the mix of both the worlds. Let private sector bring technology, let private sector bring capital, and give them the responsibility of developing the already developed regions, further developing, and let the government sector act as a growth pole and develop the backward regions. And इसीलिए we took up mixed industrial policy. Mixed, हम बन गए mixed economy. Why we took up mixed economy? Why we did not take up capitalist economy? Because government did not have that much skills, technical skills and money. And plus, if you take up capitalist economy will result into exploitation. Understanding? Then why we took up 1991 में capitalist economy? We took up capitalist economy because we didn't have any option left. हमारे पास पैसे नहीं थे. If you remember, उस समय who was the finance minister? Manmohan Singh. And Manmohan Singh had ordered the IT department to raid each and every businessman जो black money को उनको शक है, and bring जितना gold हो सकता है उतना. So एक हफ्ता में businessman brought the gold. He took all the gold and went to IMF and said to IMF, ये है gold in which India can survive for next 15 days only. Fine, but at least we can survive for 15 days. And we are ready to do reforms. तो IMF ने कहा, World Bank ने कहा, these are the conditions. You will have to follow these conditions. We will bail you out. Getting it? Always know the behind story of the things outside the books. Then you will understand कि क्यों ऐसा करना पड़ा. आज criticize करना is a very easy कि उसके कारण inclusive growth नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है. But at least we are standing on our own feet. हमारे पास सिर्फ 2 हफ्ते के पैसे बचे थे पूरे कंट्री के पास. NRK आ जाती कंट्री में. So he was the right person at the right moment at the right time. You can say. So उसके बाद we started doing LPG reforms. It were forced reforms. It did not come from bottom. It were top down. It was not bottoms up. And top down reforms जब होंगे, whenever there are top down reforms, it will always have positives. It will always have negatives. Unfortunately, with the population and the skills and the literacy rate like us, negatives have outnumbered the positives. But that negatives do not see, because 30% of the people control everything. 30% of the people means, don't take this as coastal region, etc. Consider this as urban India, consider this as rural India. Right? 30% of the people control everything, 70% of the people are invisible in India. That is the distinction between Bharat and India. So Bharat versus India. Fine? And hence 11th 5-year plan comes with inclusive growth. 12th 5-year plan comes with more inclusive growth, faster and more inclusive growth. 13th 5-year plan में planning commission चला गया. Now there is Niti Aayog. Fine? Current government itself is now thinking of replacing the Niti Aayog again with planning commission, because Niti Aayog is failing in its objectives. Niti Aayog has just become a proper retirement policy for pro-government people. Ground level पे Niti Aayog कुछ नहीं कर पा रहा है. It is just making a policy. And we will see the era of planning commission again rising. So don't be surprised in next year mains in GS if the question comes, should planning commission be again regenerated, या क्या कहते हैं उसको, revived. Fine? Understanding? India socialist इसलिए बना था because Nehru was impressed more by Russian model of development. क्योंकि रशिया में इतना ज़्यादा disparities नहीं थी rich and poor की, US में बहुत ज़्यादा disparities थी. Fine. Secondly, we required faster development. Faster development तभी आ सकता है if there is a directive planning कि ऐसे ऐसे करो, not if there is indicative planning. So इसलिए हमने planned development लिया था. कोल्ड वॉर एरा चल रहा था, इसीलिए इंडिया बिकेम मेंबर ऑफ नाम, नॉट ऑफ सोशलिस्ट. राइट? इवन टुडे वी आर सोशलिस्ट. जब तक ये पॉवर्टी खत्म नहीं होगी विल बी सोशलिस्ट. एंड रिमेंबर, तो हम कहते हैं इंडिया में देयर इज अ रिच गैप बिटवीन रिच एंड पुअर. इंडिया का रैंकिंग ऑन गिनी इंडेक्स इज लेसर देन इंडिया यूएसए. यूएसए में हमसे ज़्यादा डिस्पैरिटीज है बिटवीन रिच एंड पुअर. गिनी कोएफिशिएंट में इंडिया की रैंकिंग देखो एंड यूएसए की देखो, जो दिखाता है डिस्पैरिटी बिटवीन रिच एंड पुअर. व्हाट इज दैट? गिनी इंडेक्स. इज इट गिनी इंडेक्स? गिनी कोएफिशिएंट है. सो उसमें इंडिया इज मच बेटर देन यूएसए. दिखेगा नहीं, सर्च करना पड़ेगा. कहाँ दिखेगा गिनी इंडेक्स? सर्च करना पड़ेगा कि व्हाट इज द वैल्यू ऑफ इंडिया. रियलिटी में इट इज मच मच बेटर. इमेजिन अ मिडिल क्लास इन यूएसए की लाइफ इतनी अच्छी नहीं है जितनी इंडिया में, एक्सेप्ट कि यहाँ पे घर थोड़े महंगे हैं. यूएसए में दिस इज नॉट द केस. देयर इज टू मच गैप बिटवीन रिच एंड पुअर. दिखता है इसलिए नहीं कि क्रेडिट कार्ड पे वो इकोनॉमी चल रही है. यू आर मच, इफ यू आर अर्निंग 50 लाख रुपीज इन यूएसए यू आर अ नॉर्मल पर्सन. इफ यू आर अर्निंग 50 lakhs इन इंडिया, घर में 2-3 नौकर, बाहर 2-3 गाड़ियाँ. सिर्फ क्या होता है, घर छोटा होता है क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ पॉपुलेशन ज़्यादा है. But you live a lavish life. That is not the case in USA. Foreign service officers have to do their own work. They don't get servants. Fine? So, USA में जो servant लेके गई थी, खोबरागढ़ी issue you already know. There was a foreign service diplomat, some खोबरागढ़े, जिसके घर में चोरी से सर्वेंट पकड़ा गया था. शी वॉज सस्पेंडेड फ्रॉम द फॉरेन सर्विसेज. उसको जेल हुई. उसका हस्बैंड आज भी जेल में है. वो क्यों चोरी से सर्वेंट लेके गई थी? बिकॉज इफ शी शोज दैट शी इज अ सर्वेंट, तो उसको यूएस के हिसाब से सैलरी देनी पड़ेगी जिसकी सैलरी वॉज ग्रेटर देन व्हाट इंडियन एम्बेसडर की सैलरी इज. सो वी आर इन मच बेटर कंट्री. तो पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस फेज. Where did I stop? Balanced regional development. Therefore, India allowed coexistence of state and private companies along with planned directive model of growth. Planned directive model of growth. Now you see, as the economy is rising, current affairs, is the economy is rising, government has numerous other sources of revenue. Taxation is one of the main source. Secondly, as the economy is rising, most of the companies should be competitive, otherwise they will be taken up by the counterparts. Right? As the economy is rising, the private companies profit maximization. PSU का role is profit plus social responsibility. अब सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी धीरे धीरे कम हो रही है. आ जाता है आजकल द कंसेप्ट ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑल्सो. सो नाउ यू कैन सी देयर इज अ डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट का प्रोसेस. BPCL हो और 4-5 हो, फाइन, डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट का प्रोसेस. सो हमेशा इन एंगल से सोचना. इवन इन जीएस का आंसर यू कैन यूज द सेम लैंग्वेज. सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एक्सेट्रा, प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमाइजेशन, ज्योग्राफी की लैंग्वेज भी जीएस में आ सकती है. अब बीपीसीएल का काम नहीं है कि उसको एज अ मेजर इंडस्ट्री काम करना है, उसको पॉवर्टी भी रिमूव करना है. इंडियन गवर्नमेंट हैज इनफ ऑफ रिसोर्सेज नाउ. एयर इंडिया की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है एज अ गवर्नमेंट का कैरियर. Government can give coupons of any good airlines which is operating in India. Right? Indian Railway cannot be privatized because Indian Railway has social responsibility. What is the social responsibility? Indian Railway ki it has to connect the interiors which may not be densely populated, which may be population geography, which may be rough terrain, geomorphology. ऐसे सोचो. Therefore, Indian Railways cannot be privatized. But what can be privatized in Indian Railways is platforms, services, logistics. Railways cannot be privatized, and railways should not be privatized in any country. Service का privatization. For some distance, वो अभी try कर रहे हैं कि कैसे हम step by step करेंगे. ऐसे नहीं होगा कि maybe till the time you become 60-70, Indian Railway will be privatized entirety. Air India will be totally privatized. Understanding? ये होने ही वाला है privatization. क्योंकि अभी क्या हो रहा है, PSUs का जो अर्निंग है वो फिर मिनिस्ट्रीज खा रही है. वही चीज. एयर इंडिया इज इन लॉस नॉट बिकॉज इट इज नॉट एफिशिएंट. एयर इंडिया इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट एफिशिएंट सर्विसेज. बहुत कम होता है कि एयर इंडिया से ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम इंडिगो में है. बट इट इज इन लॉस बिकॉज 15 kgs इज द अलाउड लगेज. एयर इंडिया में 25 kgs. यू टेक 15.5 kgs इन प्राइवेट एयरलाइंस, वो उनका सोर्स ऑफ रेवेन्यू है, वो चार्ज करना शुरू करेंगे. एयर इंडिया में 25 किलो के बदले 30 किलो ले जाओ, बोलना मैं स्टूडेंट हूँ, ये हूँ, वो हूँ, ठीक है ले जाओ. उनको कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता, घर से थोड़ी जा रहा है कुछ. गेटिंग इट? एयर इंडिया में 50 किलो ले जाओ, कोई घर से नहीं. इट ऑल डिपेंड्स अपॉन योर स्किल्स, हाउ यू कम्युनिकेट. मैं खुद 30-30 किलो ले जाता हूँ हमेशा. When I go with family, I do Air India only. No, not permanent. Permanent क्या? Sometimes है. अभी नागपुर से संतरे लाए, वाइफ को बोला एयर इंडिया की ही करना टिकट, क्योंकि संतरे किस में आएंगे? एयर इंडिया में ही आ सकते हैं संतरे. फाइन. एंड इट वाज ओवरवेट बाय 2 kgs. सो वाइफ ने बोला उनको कि देखो वहाँ पे संतरे मिलते नहीं, महंगे हैं, ये है वो है. तो ओके मैडम ले जाओ. मतलब मेरा कहने का मतलब ये है कि घर से उनका कुछ जाता नहीं. फाइन. कोई फर्क नहीं. हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू मॉनिटर? नाउ दिस स्टेटमेंट विच यू हैव रिटन शुड बी, look in your syllabus. This statement should be the introduction for PSUs. Why we took up PSU led growth. Fine. Second is the evolution of Indian industries. This all is syllabus. The evolution of Indian industries can be divided into first 5-year plan. First 5-year plan. We'll do all the plans. क्या था? Tell me quickly. Economics. Focus on heavy industries or agriculture. So दिखाऊंगा नहीं. Focus on agriculture. Second point, emphasis on increasing the existing capacity of industries. Then establishment of new industry. This is a separate topic in your syllabus, evolution of industries के बाद role of planning in industrial development. Fine? Then establishing new industries. Therefore, the progress was made. Therefore, the progress was made in textile and agro-processing industry. Second 5-year plan. (1956 to 61). See, though it is given in syllabus, मैं इसलिए आपको डिटेल में भी मत पढ़ना, ऊपर से पढ़ना, बिकॉज क्वेश्चन अगर आता है 20 मार्कर का तो आप लिख सकते हो. एंड सी दिस इज टू ओल्ड, सिलेबस नीड्स टू बी रिवाइज्ड. सो दो सिलेबस में दिया है, आई डोंट थिंक अगले 5 साल में यहाँ से क्वेश्चन आएगा. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? दिस इज ओल्ड सिलेबस, ये दिया है सो दैट स्टूडेंट्स एटलीस्ट विल अंडरस्टैंड द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ इंडियन इंडस्ट्रीज. क्वेश्चन पूछने के लिए नहीं है ये सिलेबस, जस्ट फॉर योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग. फोकस वॉज ऑन heavy industries, especially iron and steel industry. Emphasis on heavy industries and iron and steel industry. The iron and steel industry was to act as a propulsive firm. The iron and steel industry was to act as a propulsive firm. Propulsive firm with the growth poles being located at the backward regions of India. Backward regions of India. इसका मॉडल है ये. ग्रोथ पोल किसका मॉडल है? पेरॉक्स, बोडीविले. दिस इज हाउ नेहरू महलबूस मॉडल टुक पेरॉक्स एंड बोडीविले, फाइन, इन इंडिया, ब्रॉट पेरॉक्स एंड बोडीविले इन इंडिया. अब इन द बैकवर्ड रीजन्स विल एनी प्राइवेट इंडस्ट्री गो एक्सेप्ट टाटा? टाटा ऑलरेडी है वहां पे. विल एनी प्राइवेट इंडस्ट्री गो इन द बैकवर्ड रीजन्स? स्ट्रगल बहुत ज्यादा है, इसलिए किसका मेजर रोल था? रोल ऑफ PSUs. So here PSUs played the major role full stop. Along with the iron and steel industry, locomotive industry. Locomotive means train. Locomotive industry expanded. And locomotive industry and fertilizer industry expanded. fertilizer industry expanded. देखो आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्री आ गया, यू गॉट द रॉ मटेरियल, यू यूज द रॉ मटेरियल फॉर बिल्डिंग लोकोमोटिव्स, फाइन. You use the raw material for building ports. अब because we are doing industries, we are not doing the chapter. इसी chapter में जब next chapter हम शुरू करेंगे, मैं इसमें बताऊंगा आपको कि विशाखापट्टनम port was established during this. क्यों? Input. From where we are going to import more. There is a limit of Mumbai port, there is a limit of Chennai port, there is a limit of Kolkata port. We want one more port in which there is no hindrance of Eastern Ghats. So which is the port? Vishakhapatnam, which is going to connect it to the interiors. यहाँ पे क्या है? Eastern Ghats का hindrances है. Getting it? So Vishakhapatnam port. थोड़ा geographically हमेशा सोचो. इतना डिटेल में एग्जाम में लिखने की जरूरत नहीं, but विशाखापट्टनम क्या है? Hindrance of the Andhra plains do not have the hindrance of Western Ghats, and therefore it is properly developed to connect it to the growth pole. Which is the growth pole? Here. Unfortunately, it did not become successful because of two reasons. वो लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Why it was on failure? China war with China and failure of 2 successive monsoons. Therefore, it did not become successful. Fine. And at the same time, यहाँ पे तो आपने heavy industries ये कर ली. चितरंजन में locomotive works establish किया. Agriculture based industries were established already here. वनस्पति डालडा घी की industry. यहाँ पे there are textile industries from this region. So what about here? What did government do in the second fire plan here? Here HMT, Hindustan Machine Tools, was established. Engineering good industry. That is why I say iron and steel industry is a propulsive industry, because एक बार raw material बन गया तो घड़ी बनाओ, गाड़ियाँ बनाओ, automobiles बनाओ, या कुछ भी करो. And as a result of this, या ports बनाओ. Therefore, which is the base of industrialization? The iron and steel industry. And imagine what would have happened had a second fire plan been more successful. Maybe आज China के बदले India would have been the powerful nation. Understanding? Unfortunately, second fire plan was not successful. We thought कि heavy industries में बहुत ज़्यादा time लग रहा है. So iron and steel industry का raw material से third fire plan में we focused on engineering goods industry. As the engineering goods industry will come, numerous engineering colleges will spring up. कहाँ पे engineering goods industry has come? Second fire plan में HMT was established here. जिसके पहले watches used to come only of HMT, if you remember. Fine? HMT was established here. As the HMT is established here, numerous engineering colleges will come in this region. Numerous petrochemical engineering colleges will come in this region. Numerous civil engineering colleges will come in this region. But electrical engineering colleges will come up in this region. And fast forward to 1995. Silicon Valley के लिए क्या चाहिए? Petrochemical and textile engineering के colleges या electrical engineering के colleges? Electrical. So which becomes Silicon Valley of India? Understanding? क्यों Bangalore developed as a Silicon Valley is because पहले से products था. अगर government would have established HMT somewhere in Noida, maybe Noida would have been the Silicon Valley. ऐसा क्या था Bangalore में कि Silicon Valley went there? Understanding? So one decision of government can change the destiny of a region. इसलिए in the developing countries like us, it is not the quantitative revolution which is important, it is the policy planning which plays more important role. Understanding? HMT आ गया उधर. Because of HMT coming up, precision industry आ गई. Precision industry is the industry that works on small details. Because of the precision industry coming there, HAL आ गया उधर, Hindustan Aviation Limited, aviation industry आ गई. Because of this, precision engineering college, whether it is electronics, colleges were established. Electronics is nothing but computers. Computers is nothing but software. Fine? Yes, ISC was there. So this were all planned properly. Here, the focus was on petrochemical industry, textile industry. So you have one of the oldest colleges of India and the first college in India in which petroleum engineering, textile engineering is being followed. You are from Bombay, you know the name of college, UD City. Fine, it is UD City. It is also having the status of NIT. फिर they started designing the ports etc. So architectural college सब आने लग गए. फिर ये मेगा सिटी बन गई तो आज तो अलग है सब कुछ. और यहाँ पे फोकस ही नहीं था क्योंकि कोई प्रपोल्सिव फर्म ही नहीं थी. सो ये एरिया पीछे रह गया. सो व्हाट शुड द गवर्नमेंट वुड हैव डन इज, एक तो हमें पैसे चाहिए थे, आवर मनी शुड नॉट हैव गॉन टू चाइना वॉर एंड द फेलियर ऑफ मॉनसून, एंड सेकेंडली वी शुड हैव एस्टेब्लिश्ड मोर देन वन ग्रोथ पोल्स, बट वी फोकस टू मच ऑन ओनली वन रीजन. एंड whenever there is focus of one region, if it fails, entire policy fails. If there had been focus on 2-3 different regions, failure of this would have been compensated by these 2 regions. Fine? Understanding? Industries will not come in unless it is agro-based industries, and agro-based industries are always the later scale of industrialization. Agro-based industries कहाँ पे demand होगी? जहाँ processed food होगा. People in villages will never like to eat processed food, so उसके लिए urbanization is the first necessary. So at the same time, in the second 5-year plan only, at the same time, HMT, Hindustan Machine Tools, was established in Bangalore. The HMT helped in development of precision and engineering goods industry around Bangalore. Precision and engineering goods industry around Bangalore, comma, educational institutes which acted as raw material for footloose industry such as software and electronics. Footloose industries such as software and electronics. Footloose industry means which can be established anywhere. So you should ask yourself a question, कि Bangalore ही क्यों? Why not Pune? Why not Chennai? Why not Kolkata? Why not Mumbai became a Silicon Valley of India? Why Bangalore? Understanding? Third 5-year plan. Focus was again on basic industries. Focus was again on the basic industries. Nothing much could be established, nothing much could be achieved. In the period of planned holidays. In the period of planned holiday. Sorry, planned holidays. जिसको हम कहते हैं annual plans also. 66 to 69. There was no fire plan. Fine. 66 to 69. Can someone tell me in polity what changed during this period? 66 to 69. किसका decline, किसका rise? Regional powers started rising upwards. Fine. Congress was on decline. So इससे पहले there was a unified policy for all over India कि नेहरू की policy थी कि कैसे कैसे develop करना है. इसके बाद regional parties, that was the end of Congress rule. Congress को challenges आ गए 1967 में. Regional powers started coming up. This was also the rise in which Congress took the help of certain right-wing organizations to curb leftist governments. Leftist जो governments थी उनको रोकने के लिए right-wing organizations शुरू हो गए. So Congress का ही creation है right-wing organizations, whether you can name it as Shiv Sena, whether you name it as many other right-wing organizations in the other parts of India. It is all Congress का ही creation. They were used as challenge to George Fernandez or his labor movements, labor organizations. Fine. अब as इसके बाद you will see the next 5 year plans will be disoriented. कोई कहेगा agriculture, कोई कहेगा industry, कोई कहेगा वनस्पति, कोई कहेगा agro processing. But because of this thing, जो properly जो चल रहा था second year 5 year plan and third 5 year plan में heavy industries ये suddenly derail हो गया. Because अब regional parties started becoming stronger. And कौन सी industries पे focus आएगा? Agro based industries. Because उसमें central government की ज़रूरत नहीं. Even the state governments can do agro based industries. Fine? Fourth 5 year plan. Due to the change in the political landscape of India, even the industrial landscape started experiencing decentralization and dispersal. And decentralization. Dispersal and decentralization. That is, industry started spreading all across India. Fine? Focus was on agro-based industries. Such as वनस्पति इंडस्ट्री. इसलिए क्योंकि वनस्पति इंडस्ट्री बहुत ज़्यादा राइज हुआ इसमें. What do you mean by vanaspati industry? Vanaspati means? Vanaspati industry means? Dalda, nothing else. Vanaspati industry means dalda. Vegetable oil. It is nothing but vegetable oil. डालडा का ट्रेडमार्क था. सो डालडा इज एक्चुअली अ कंपनी, बट इट स्टार्टेड टू बी एक्सेप्टेड एज अ कि ये डालडा ही बनाता है. दैट इज वनस्पति बनाता है. हाई इन ट्रांस फैट. फाइन. वनस्पति घी मीन्स डालडा. डालडा एक्चुअली इज अ कंपनी, बट यू ऑलरेडी नो व्हाट डालडा इज. इट इज अ vegetable oil, oil that is made from vegetable products, petrochemical industry. It is not pure fat, milk से बना हुआ घी. Fifth 5-year plan. What was the change in the political landscape of India? Again tell me. What happened in this period? 74 to 79 किसका पीरियड है? इंदिरा गांधी. इमरजेंसी. डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन या फिर से सेंट्रलाइजेशन? सेंट्रलाइजेशन. सो सेंट्रलाइजेशन, नाउ यू शुड बी एबल टू लिंक. कौन सी इंडस्ट्री डेवलप होगी फिर से? बेसिक आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्री या बेसिक आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्री? क्योंकि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट हैज टू बी स्ट्रांग फॉर आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्री. स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स नहीं कर सकते आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्री. तो फिर से आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्री. एंड इसीलिए क्या फॉर्म हुआ था इन 75? SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited was formed in 1975. So focus again shifted. Obviously GAIL ये सब इस समय आए थे, but वो इस चैप्टर में जरूरत नहीं है. फाइन. Focus again shifted. Focus again shifted on the rapid growth of steel plant, rapid growth of steel plants, comma, goods of mass consumption, and export oriented goods. And export oriented goods. Export oriented goods. फोकस शिफ्ट हुआ था ताकि इंपोर्ट सब्स्टिट्यूट करना था ना हमें. सक्सेसफुल हुआ नहीं, एक्सपोर्ट नहीं था, बट गवर्नमेंट वांटेड टू बिकम एन एक्सपोर्ट ओरिएंटेड गुड. तब नहीं था हमारे पास एक्सपोर्ट कुछ में. ऑब्वियसली एक्सपोर्ट ओरिएंटेड फेल हो गया. This resulted into the formation of Steel Authority of India Limited. Steel Authority of India Limited. Comma, development of national highways in India. Development of national highways in India. As well as new steel plants at Salem, Vijayanagar, and Visakhapatnam. You can forget this. ये इम्पॉर्टेंट है, इसके ऊपर सेपरेट क्वेश्चन आता है. विशाखापट्टनम, बिकॉज उसका इट इज इंडियाज फर्स्ट कोस्टल स्टील प्लांट. विशाखापट्टनम का अवे फ्रॉम द रॉ मटेरियल. एंड सालेम. सालेम इज इन तमिलनाडु. सालेम इज इन तमिलनाडु. cotton textile industry, lignite coal, raw material is lignite coal. Yes, कुद्रेमुख का डिस्कवरी इन द टर्म्स, बट कुद्रेमुख सालेम का इतना यूज नहीं हो रहा था, यूज होगा इसीलिए तो देखो, now he said Kudremukh also started during this time. Where is Kudremukh? In Karnataka. Fine. Kudremukh is in Karnataka. Steel plant is established in Tamil Nadu. So iron ore is taken from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu. उसके लिए what you require? Highway. Railway बनाने में इतना जल्दी आएगा नहीं. So the focus is on highway. Highway बन गए. Understand the economic development. Highway बन गए. So 7th 5-year plan में, 6th 5-year plan में, tourism will suddenly expand. Why? Because people will now start moving from one place to another once the highways are formed. Getting it? अगर link करोगे तो very easy. पहले इसमें agriculture खाने के लिए, second इसमें industrialization, third इसमें industrialization. Unfortunately, we again went back to the agriculture. फिर इंदिरा गांधी came, centralization, industrialization. अब आएगा rolling plans, मोरारजी देसाई government. Fine. फिर से the focus will shift on agriculture. जो भी कोaliशन गवर्नमेंट है, जो भी अनस्टेबल गवर्नमेंट है, उनको हमेशा किसानों की याद आएगी और गरीबों की याद आएगी. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? बिकॉज दे वांट टू कीप द अथॉरिटी पोजीशन. सो अभी भी देखो, जोक्स अपार्ट, अंडरस्टैंड कि शिवसेना, बीजेपी एंड कांग्रेस आर कमिंग टुगेदर. क्यों? किसानों के लिए. अभी तक किसान कहाँ थे 50 साल में? सडनली उनको किसान याद आ रहे. हमेशा किसान इज सच अ गुड वोट बैंक, या गुड ड्रम, कि जब भी इफ यू आर अनस्टेबल, किसान को लेके आओ. फाइन. सेम हैपेंड इन सम्मान, प्रधानमंत्री सम्मान. सडनली किसानों को पैसे मिलने लग गए. इलेक्शन तक तो प्रॉपर 2 किश्तें मिली. इलेक्शन होते ही 3rd इंस्टॉलमेंट इज गॉन. हर पूरे इंडिया में चलता है. We ourselves are lazy people. हमें socialism की इतनी आदत पड़ गई है कि we want everything to be done by government. Fine? Socialism has basically spoiled India. We want everything to be done by the government. Job भी government देगा, education भी government देगा, मनरेगा भी government करेगा, health भी government करेगा. Fine? So there will be no industrial development in rolling plan. So exam में don't write rolling plan. You already know what is a rolling plan. Morarji Desai Janata government. It was from 78 to 80. 6th 5-year plan. The focus was on economic liberalization, population control. चाइना ने 1 child policy अप्लाई की थी. फाइन. सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट, NABARD was established. कब established हुआ था NABARD? 1982. NABARD was established. किसकी कमेटी? On the recommendations of SHUBHRA committee. Who was the Prime Minister? इंदिरा गांधी. ये लिखो मत, मेंस में लिखने की जरूरत नहीं, just extra information. NABARD was established. But in the industries, focus shifted towards automobile, commercial vehicles, cement and drug industry. Drug मतलब pharmaceutical industry. रोड्स बन गए, रोड्स के बाद टूरिज्म की डिमांड बढ़ गई, सो व्हाट स्टार्टेड? ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री, कमर्शियल व्हीकल इंडस्ट्री. फाइन. So infrastructure, and we are going towards the economic policies of liberalization, privatization, globalization. So the focus of the industry is shifting smaller. Government does not have that much money that they can spend on the heavy industries. Heavy industries does not help any government to win the elections. Elections in India occur after 5 years. Heavy industry ka gestation period is 12 years. So if Modi establishes iron and steel plant, uska credit lega koi to 15 साल बाद जब employment generation होगा. इसलिए nobody is focusing on establishing iron and steel plant. Getting it? और इस समय you go to the basics. What was their गरीबी हटाओ? Fine. 7 5-year plan. With the coming up of whose government? Rajiv Gandhi government. If you want to write the name, you can write. With the coming up of the Rajiv Gandhi government, what was the theme of the 7th 5-year plan? Green Revolution तो चला गया. Social justice. With the coming up of the Rajiv Gandhi government, the focus shifted towards high-tech and electronic industries. High-tech and electronic industries. Rajiv Gandhi was a pilot. Fine. So, electronic good industry. Government started focusing on export-oriented industries, self-employment, the next era of LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. कब से कब तक था? 86 to 91. 91 के एंड में LPG. I'll just quickly go through before I go to the LPG क्योंकि अलग टॉपिक है. 1992 to 97. फाइन. उसके बाद 97 to 2002. उसके बाद 2002 to 2007. 2007 to 2012. And the last 2012 to 2017. यहाँ तक आते आते we had reached the limits. There was high level of unemployment, agriculture productivity was falling. 1980s was the period of sudden population growth in India, so because Sanjay Gandhi ka experiment had failed. China already has started the one child policy. Hamara best friend USSR is no longer there, it has collapsed. Fine, we are the biggest enemies of USA. इसी समय the crisis in internal security has started, Kashmir issue has started, Punjab issue has started. So borders are becoming more and more open, and as a result of this, suddenly without any help, India had to go for liberalization, privatization, globalization. With the liberalization, privatization, globalization, there is an end of license Raj. Except for few sectors, government reserves all the sectors, opens all the sectors for industries. And iske baad there is a sudden industrial growth in India. But this sudden industrial growth is not going to happen for social justice, or it is not going to happen for employment generation. Ye iska outcome hoga. In the era of LPG, the sudden industrial growth is going to happen for profit maximization, because अब PSUs का role has been reduced, and because of the profit maximization, it will result into islands of prosperity, जहाँ skills है, जहाँ raw materials है, जहाँ already है, surrounded by the sea of poverty. Getting it? अब government का role in this region will be building रास्ते, giving education. Fine? Vajpayee, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. Fine? Golden Quadrilateral. Government का focus will no longer be on the establishing iron and steel plants, and because of this we come into the crisis period कि ना हमारे पास industrialization आ रहा है, we are generating enough jobs, but these jobs are there only for educated people, and as a result of this, no industrial development is taking place in this phase. Only disparity is increasing, and therefore inclusive growth आ रहा है. But over this period, because of the past 5 years and because of the service sector का dominance, middle class का suddenly rise होता है. As the middle class rises, and even agriculture class rises, middle class में agriculture class is also there, education goes there. Education goes, globalization occurs, people go outside, they get more and more educated, they come to India, and therefore in this era startups have started. Right? Because finance is easily available, insurance sector is there, everything is there, and therefore this is the era of startups. And see last year का question. Startups के ऊपर था last year का question. Right? You have to understand why startup culture has started just now. Why not in this era? यहाँ पे तो chance ही नहीं था. Startup यहाँ पे chance नहीं था because for startup you require capital, we didn't have capital. For startup you require skills, we didn't have skills. Skills and capital started coming in this era, especially in the Vajpayee government time. Right? Finance increased in this time when India became a superpower in the terms of computing. In the era between 97 to 2002 was the golden period for Indian software industry. Why it was the golden period for Indian software industry? Because of a crisis which is known as Y2K crisis. What is a Y2K crisis? When they first made the computers, they had forgotten कि 1999 के बाद there will be year 2000. Binary system है. So 1999 December 31st, all the computers would have stopped, and most of the world have become computerized. अब सबसे ज़्यादा कंप्यूटर इंजीनियरिंग के कॉलेजेस कहाँ पे? इंडिया में. सबसे ज़्यादा वर्कफोर्स कहाँ पे? इंडिया में. सबसे ज़्यादा सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनीज कहाँ पे? इंडिया में. चीप में जो काम कर रही है. एंड क्या करना था उनको सारे कंप्यूटर्स का डेट चेंज करना था, रीप्रोग्राम करके, ताकि यहाँ से काउंटर जीरो से स्टार्ट हो जाए. 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, and इसलिए this was the golden period of software industry. And hence from the year 1999 to 2004, 2005, till the time I graduated from software, there was huge placements. Fine? Companies आती थी, उठाती थी. जिसको देख के आज बहुत लोग तुम में से सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स होंगे या इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स इंजीनियर्स होंगे, बट आज जॉब्स नहीं है. वाई? क्राइसिस नहीं है, खत्म है क्राइसिस. Right? So पुराना टाइम 70 lakhs का पैकेज, 30 lakhs का पैकेज, 18,000 का पैकेज. I remember when I was graduating, the package which was being offered was 21,000. 21,000 will come to somewhere around उस समय 2005 में 21,000 was the starting package. 6 months बाद it was suddenly increasing. आज भी 21,000 है starting package, but you see the inflation का cost. Right? People rose suddenly. As the people rose suddenly, उनको पता चला कि मैनेजमेंट उनको आता नहीं, so suddenly MBA colleges. And then your parents used to see कि अच्छा MBA किया है, सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग किया है, ये बेस्ट है एजुकेशन, सो हर बच्चे को इंजीनियर बनाओ, हर बच्चे को MBA बनाओ, बट बाहर जॉब्स ही नहीं है, बिकॉज डिमांड खत्म है. अब बाहर जॉब्स नहीं इतना पढ़ने के बाद तो IAS. This is also the reality, government jobs. Understanding? This is also the reality. With the coming up of computers here, in this era, 2002 to 2012 ka era, there was sudden expansion of computers due to Basel norms in banking sector. Fine? And due to the sudden expansion of computers due to banking sector, they required, and banking sector started expanding, they required more skills. And इसीलिए this was the golden era for becoming bank PO. Understanding? जिसका आज भी फायदा बहुत सारे क्लासेस उठा रहे हैं, IBPS एग्जामिनेशन. This was the golden era. So चलो IBPS की भी एग्जाम कर लो. Understanding? You will always do what has been successful in your previous generation. Getting it? So let maybe आज बॉलीवुड इंडस्ट्री इंडिया का becomes हॉलीवुड, एंड किसकी डिमांड बढ़ेगी? अगेन एनिमेशन वर्कर्स, ऑपरेटर्स. तो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन सब वो करने लग जाएगा. इंडिया में सडनली वो कॉलेजेस आ जाएंगे एक्टिंग के एक्सेट्रा. गेटिंग इट? दिस इज हाउ एजुकेशन इज बीइंग फॉलोड इन इंडिया. वी आर ऑलवेज गिविंग व्हाट इज इन डिमांड इन द प्रीवियस ईयर. अब डिमांड नहीं है. फाइन. करना चाहिए. Good engineering, good degrees, nothing else, good degrees. With the coming up of GST, इनकी डिमांड बहुत ज़्यादा है, especially जिनको टैली आता है, right? टैली का ही एडवांस्ड वर्जन आ गया. So you should never forget about, you should never go by that. जो अच्छा इंजीनियर है, सिविल इंजीनियर, he will be a good software engineer also. जो worst software engineer है, उसकी डिमांड होगी. It is always the core which is important, not the courses. So आज भी civil engineering is important, mechanical engineering is important, I will say from the engineering point of view. आज भी medicine such as cardiology is important. Radiologist का एक ज़माने में the seat used to go to 2 crore rupees. Now nobody wants radiology. Everything has been done by animation. So era of LPG and उसका impact. Getting it? With the coming up of new industrial policy in 1991, new industrial policy in 1991, the role of public sector enterprises, the role of public sector enterprises was reduced. Government started inviting more MNCs. Government started inviting more MNCs. And the role of government was became limited to development of small scale industries, and correcting regional imbalances. Therefore, in 8th and 9th 5-year plan, Therefore, in 8th and 9th 5-year plan, the focus shifted to consumer goods industry, electricity, infrastructure. गवर्नमेंट का काम क्या हो गया? इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को बढ़ावा देना, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी को, बाकी सब प्राइवेट कंपनीज करने लग गए. प्राइवेट कंपनीज किस में इन्वेस्ट करती थी? जिसमें ज्यादा डिमांड है, कंज्यूमर गुड इंडस्ट्री, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. फुल स्टॉप. LPG reforms connected the Indian economy with the global economy. Connected Indian economy with the global economy. And hence, to reduce imbalanced growth, and enhance exports. In the 10th 5-year plan, the policy of SEZ, कौन से ईयर में? 2005 was adopted. In the 11th and 12th 5-year plan, the focus of government shifted on reducing poverty, again regional imbalances, generating employment, through capacity building as well as infrastructure development. And hence, the core areas of work are focus back to manufacturing, through Make in India initiative, skill upgradation, through what? What is the name of a program? Skill development, employment generation, Startup India and Stand Up India. Employment generation through Startup India and Stand Up India. What is the difference between Startup India and Stand Up India? Yes, Stand Up India is for people who are away from the mainstream. Stand Up India is for entrepreneurship, yeah, self-employment among women, SC and ST. At the same time, India is facing the challenge of climate change, and has huge opportunities in lithium battery industry, fine, electric vehicles, solar equipments, food processing, especially organic food. हम सब बाहर की मार्केट के लिए प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, इंडिया के लिए कुछ नहीं, फाइन. आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, लिखो, अपॉर्चुनिटी हो ना हो लिखो सिर्फ. आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस एंड ऑटोमेशन, as well as electronic goods. So this should be our focus area, fine. Electronic goods is going to Vietnam from China. China खाली हो रहा है इसमें से. Textile industry we have to just upgrade ourselves. Artificial intelligence and automation, India is blessed in the terms कि when AI will come, artificial intelligence. पिछले month का geography and news is on artificial intelligence, fine, because it is all related to demography. अगर demography is there, then only artificial intelligence can be a blessing. And automation industry, food processing industry, high, because we are having one of the largest arable land in the world. Solar equipments, yes. Lithium ion batteries, not so good, because still we depend upon huge amount of import in both this lithium ion and this thing. Solar equipments and lithium ion में we basically depend on imports. Electric vehicles में 4 countries are competing. One is US, one is Germany, France region, Western Europe, तीसरा है India, fourth is China, South Korea. ये 4 रीजन्स हैं जहाँ पे कंपटीशन चल रहा है इन द इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स. हु विल विन? जापान नहीं, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स में पीछे है. हु विल विन डिपेंड्स अपॉन कौन चीप क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट दे पाएगा, क्वालिटी बट एट चीपर प्राइजेस. तो इसमें से यूएस एंड वेस्टर्न यूरोप इज आउट. वैसे बेसिकली टेल्सा एक्सेट्रा आर नॉट गोइंग वेरी चीप प्रोडक्ट्स. लीडिंग इज चाइना एंड लीडिंग इज इंडिया, फाइन. चाइना में से MG Hyundai group is leading, means MG Morris Garage and South Korea में से Hyundai group is leading. India में से Tata group is leading in electric vehicles. And कौन win करेगा will depend upon how the government supports it. Sometimes the government has to take care of उसका industries so that they become very big. Yeah, it will lead this. Why it is this? Because electric cars में 50% of the price, 50 to 56% of the price comes from lithium ion batteries. So जो price of the vehicle है उसका 56% of the lithium ion resource. That is why ये crisis. इंडिया में नहीं इतना डेवलपमेंट हो रहा. We are focusing only on the industries in India. India में hydrogen vehicle we are not the leader, but we can be the leader here. We can be the leader here. We can be the leader in these two things. इसमें भी chance बहुत कम है. Why? Because इसमें waste production is very high and environmental clearances नहीं मिलेंगे. Fine. So you should prepare 1, 2, 3 and 4. ये तो yes, but problem is raw materials still need to be imported. Solar photovoltaic cells, even today China is the largest producer. So देखो इसलिए prelims में भी focus in industries पे ज़्यादा है, photovoltaics etc. पे. Fine, getting it? Prepare for short note. Because I am saying this because this topic is developing now. You will find articles in the newspaper currently. It can come even in GS, it can come even in optional. If GST can come in your optional, कुछ भी आ सकता है. Fine. If chikungunya का aerial distribution can come in your optional, कुछ भी आ सकता है. Space is different topic, इसलिए मैं touch नहीं कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे. You can write about space technology. Understood? So take one question and try writing it. Examine how the industrial development of India has experienced paradigm shift, from colonial to post-colonial to post-liberalization era. Full stop. Post-liberalization era with examples. Write this in 250 words. मैंने एक broad question आपका ready हो जाएगा. Write this in 250 words. Next question you take down. How the industrial performance in India is measured? How the industrial performance in India is measured? Full stop. Examine why. Examine why the monthly IIP, what is IIP? Index of Industrial Production, is generally considered as the reflection of economy. Is generally considered as the reflection of economy. कोशिश करोगे लिखने की? मैं कल डिस्कस करूंगा. See, first part of the context question is how it is measured. So how it is measured in India? By two surveys. एक monthly है IIP and एक annual है Annual Surveys of the Industries. कौन करता है? Central Statistical Organization. Annual Surveys of the Industry is not considered that good a parameter because it will just talk about post-mortem analysis of the industries in India. फिर आता है IIP. Why IIP is considered most important? Because it is the reflection of 8 core industries. And what are these core industries? Coal, crude oil, natural gas, refinery products, fertilizer, then steel, cement and electricity. Talks about how we are utilizing the resources. Demand for coal depends upon the demand for manufacturing industry. The coal ka demand falls, that means the manufacturing industry is having less. Because ऐसा नहीं है कि source of electricity has changed in India. आज भी 70% of the electricity is made from coal. इसका इतना importance नहीं है. Fine, you can skip this topic. मैं overall दे रहा हूँ आपको. Fertilizer industry talks about the capacity of the above 3 industries. ऐसे point wise जाना. Fertilizer industry also talks about the agricultural health of India. Greater demand for fertilizer means farmers have better income from the previous period and they can afford greater input. So this gives an idea about the manufacturing sector. This gives an idea about the socio-economic sector of the rural India. Steel industry talks about infrastructure development in India. It talks about both private sector infrastructure development in the terms of housing and as well as it talks about the large scale government infrastructure development which is required for attracting more of an FDI. Same for the cement industry. And electricity industry talks about how much dispersed is the electricity in India. Fine. एक joke चल रहा है internet पे, if you have heard. इंटरनेट पे वन जोक इज देयर, आई डोंट रिमेंबर कहाँ पे है इलेक्शन होने वाला अभी, विच स्टेट? झारखंड. वहाँ पे किसी कांग्रेस के एमएलए ने कहा है कि अगर बीजेपी के बटन कांग्रेस छोड़ के किसी भी बटन दबाओगे तो आपको शॉक लगेगा, बिकॉज देयर आर ट्राइबल्स, राइट? सो कांग्रेस का बटन छोड़ के किसी भी बटन को आप दबाओगे बिकॉज ट्राइबल्स डोंट अंडरस्टैंड द सिंबल्स. उसने कहा है कि शॉक लगेगा. तो उसको किसी गांव वाले ने कहा है इस बहाने बिजली तो आएगी. फाइन, इस बहाने बिजली तो आएगी. दिस इज व्हाट इज द जोक दैट इज गोइंग ऑन, में चल रहा है. सो व्हाट डज इट शो? इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इंडस्ट्री शो how much decentralized the purchasing power of the country is, how much decentralized the manufacturing power of the country is, because this is crucial even for the small scale industrial development in India. Fine? Getting it? And then you can conclude that though this do not form the base of employment in India, but it shows that how much strong export market of India is, crude industry. This is what is the measure of India's industrial production. है news में IIP has fallen to 40-year low. Getting it? Because this industries will determine the price. This industries will determine the money that is flowing in the market. इससे purchasing power parity, इससे insurance, इससे banking sector सब पे affect कर रहा है. इसलिए this is known as an core industry. Fine. Demand is in India. Remove this from the core industry ka basket. You don't require 3 petroleum ka products in the core industry and substitute it with the textile industry, because India mein textile industry has a important role to play, but the government is not ready to bring textile industry in this basket of India. So kya hai core industries? Prelims ke liye bhi yaad rakho. Getting it? So India mein kaun si core industries? Fine. There was a question last year, there was a question this year, there was a question in 2015. Continuously 2015 का question था, 4 नाम दिए थे, except one was textile, and पूछा था which of the following is not there in the core industries. इस साल का question in prelims is applied central statistical organizations. Fine. I'll discuss this question tomorrow. अगर लिखोगे तो बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा, बिकॉज योर करंट इश्यूज विल बी डन. अगर नहीं लिखोगे तो एटलीस्ट जो मैं हैंड आउट दूंगा वो अच्छी तरह से पढ़ के जाना. फाइन. Again, I am not going to dictate, I am just going to discuss this topic. Fine. Industrial policies in India. Now, if you, I am just going to give you an overview framework of this topic. What can be the objective of industrial policy in India? You don't know anything, question आता है, what can be the objective? कोई भी industrial policy in India पे question आता है, यार ये topic को ऐसे पढ़ो. What are the objectives? What are the areas? What are the policies? 1948 की पॉलिसी, 1991 की पॉलिसी एंड 2018 की पॉलिसी. फिर देखो पास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चन. देयर हैज बीन 6 क्वेश्चंस ऑन 1991 का पॉलिसी इन जीएस आल्सो, in optional also. I am talking 6 only in optional. We have discussed 3 questions yesterday. 1991 की policy का. What happened due to the 1991 policy? अब predict the question for next year. What has come last year is 2018 का policy. Is there a question on 2018 का policy this year? No. So look at the past year questions. Zika virus के 2 साल बाद UPSC optional में पूछता है. फाइन. चिकनगुनिया के 2 साल बाद इंडिया यूपीएससी ऑप्शनल में पूछता है. मतलब अगले साल का एक क्वेश्चन आपका रेडी होना चाहिए, दैट इज 2018 का इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी. गेटिंग इट? पेपर 2 ऐसा ही पढ़ा जाता है प्रेडिक्शन से. यू कैन नॉट स्टडी पेपर 2 एंटायरली, एंड पेपर 2 अलग नहीं पढ़ा जाता. पेपर 2 जीएस के साथ ही पढ़ा जाता है. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? डोंट स्टडी पेपर 2 सेपरेटली. Tell me a single topic which we have done which is not in GS. ये सारा economics है. This is paper 3 of your GS. Whether it is cotton textile industry, whether it is this industry, whether it is that industry. Social issues के topics हैं हमारे पास. Internal security of India. Fine. इस साल का question क्या है? Most of the border states of India have religious minorities. Examine the implications of such religious minorities on the border security of India. Right or not? Jammu Kashmir, religious minority. Fine. Manipur, which religious minority on the border state? I don't know. Manipur is largely a Hindu state, right? So the state of Northeast, which is largely Hindu, is Manipur, but Assam also. Assam also. But Manipur has no religious minority. Manipur has ethnic connections with the Myanmar, and therefore border security challenges become difficult. Example 2014 ka question, specific to Manipur, because Manipur comes in Golden Crescent. What is Golden Crescent? Drugs जहाँ से सबसे ज़्यादा import होते हैं. Drugs सबसे ज़्यादा import होते हैं from Manipur. So इसलिए I asked Balbir to find any book which is very costly but not available on the net. ये मेरे को ढूंढ के दे देता है. Jokes apart, what can be the objectives of industrial policy? देखो कुछ पढ़ना नहीं होता. Directly poverty से मत शुरू करना, थोड़ा industries से शुरू करना, geography से शुरू करना. So look in this industries, industrialization, balanced regional development, fine, more consumer oriented growth, more demand, more employment, फिर balance of payment को stabilize करना, and as well as geopolitical as well as geostrategic importance. Fine. What can be the areas of industrial policy? This is a bit technical. Areas of industrial policy. Areas of industrial policy can be, first, industrial licensing policy. I'll give you all this tomorrow. What do you mean by industrial licensing policy? But can you tell me any region जहाँ पे this industrial licensing policy is working now? Natural gas, coal, fine. There are some sectors जहाँ पे licensing is required. Nuclear energy. How the government is going to focus? So we give still the licensing policy for natural gas exploration. We give the licensing policy for coal exploration. We give the licensing policy for the exploration of major minerals. We don't have licensing policy for uranium. वो सिर्फ government ने अपने पास रखा है. Second area of industrial licensing policy is foreign investment. इसमें से focus will be on the ease of doing business. Third area of industrial licensing policy will be foreign technology agreements. Because these agreements play the most important role in the form of copyrights, trademarks, etc. Before 2010, 2015, India was under process or product copyrights. Copyrights नहीं बोल सकते. We can say it as a company जो 20 साल के लिए लेता है. I'm not remembering the word. What it is known as? IPR. So it deals with the IPR. So we have what? Process या product IPR. Right now. Intellectual property rights, economics. बताओ कौन सा है? Commerce. हमारे इसमें दोनों है, product and process IPR. Fine. IPR technology which is governed by WIPO. WIPO में there is either process patent or product patent. Not IPR, actually it is a patent. Process patent में you patent the process by which the final product is coming. Product patent में you patent the product which is coming. अब developed nations में you have both. and generally it is the product patent which is there in the developed nations. In the developing nations, the WIPO, that is World Trade Organization, and the World Intellectual Property Rights Organization wanted to bring in both product and process patent. Companies did not, or countries did not agree to it, including India, because what was happening in India, as India had initially only the process patent, there was no product patent. So हमारा पूरा pharmaceutical industry का जो growth है, it is based on this simple change in the law. Because we were having the process patent and not the product patent, Indian pharmaceutical industries used to make the same product, but by using different process, reverse engineering करके. And therefore, we were the cheapest supplier of generic drugs in the world. And this generic drugs in the world का cheapest supplier resulted into sudden rise of the pharmaceutical industry in India, whether it is Cipla, whether it is Novartis, जो Ranbaxy, etc. आज क्यों crisis में है? You have to understand this. Ranbaxy, etc. Why they are in crisis? WIPO gave 10 years to the developing nations, and from 2005 to 2015, we had to bring in the product patent as well as the process patent. So as a result of this, from 2015 onwards, हमारे इसमें product patent भी है, हमारे इसमें process patent भी है. We are having both the patent. So no longer we can make a cheap drugs by using different processes. If crocin, this is a trademark of XYZ company, we cannot make any drug like crocin at half the price. And that is what is known as the product patent. Fine? Getting it? This is what is known as the foreign technology agreements. कहाँ पे apply होगा? It will apply in the automobile industry sector, it will apply in the pharmaceutical industry sector, it will apply in the textile industry sector. And इसीलिए China was the last country to join WIPO and WTO. India was one of the founding members of WTO, and China is the country which has done maximum bargaining with WTO. उसने 25 साल लगाए थे WTO को join करने के लिए. Getting it? Public sector policy, that is what is the role of PSUs, etc. right now. This is what is the public sector policy. Why even today, even in the era of LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization, the role of public sector is important because of two reasons. The regions which are critical, strategically important and critical for the economy and the country's security, they cannot open for private sector. The example is nuclear energy. And secondly, even today, even in the regions of competition and era of liberalization, privatization, globalization, public sector will play an important role of balanced regional development. They will go in the regions जहाँ पे nobody goes. उनका profits will become the income for the government. जहाँ से subsidies, government can do subsidies. Getting it? And thirdly, it will help in removing the social disparities from the country. Getting it? So profit, you should not always judge ONGC, etc. from the profit or loss. But obviously for public sector to focus or to grow, there has to be some kind of an profit. Otherwise it will become a story of MTNL or BSNL. फिर बेच देंगे किसी को. Or it will become a story of Air India. कि वो इतना लॉस में जा रहा है कि it is just eating your money. Taxpayers' money तो is going in. And इसीलिए the concept of Maharatnas, Navratnas, Mini Ratnas are there. Getting it? And उनकी क्या क्या condition है. Remember, we are not doing economics, we are doing geography optional. But लगेगा आपको सब economics जैसा, पूरा industries में. And next is ensuring competitive environment. Example, Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act and Competition Commission of India. What is इनका role in development of business and industries in India? Competition Commission of India and MRTP Act. There has been a question regularly from this topic. There is a question regularly from this topic, and there is a question regularly from this topic. अभी तक इन दोनों से question आया नहीं है. Getting it? In optional, I am saying. Getting it? So, इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी तक मैं कल डिस्कस करूंगा. एंड नाउ बिफोर आई गो, बिफोर वी एंड, IP is Industrial Policy of 1956. Industrial Policy of 1973. Industrial Policy of 1991 and Industrial Policy of 2018. So it is very obvious कि ये तीनों पढ़ के नहीं जाना है. They won't be asking you questions on this. Questions will come from this area. This is too old. But notes में मैं इसके भी कुछ prelims के लिए pointer दूंगा. जैसे इसी साल question was from Bombay Plan और last year the question was from Bombay Plan. Fine. And we will do the analysis of this too. This will be all in the form of notes, not in the form of any class. But books में याद रखो कि क्या पढ़ना है क्या नहीं. Otherwise printed notes आप भूल जाओ. Right? So what do you mean by the word liberalization? What do you mean by the word privatization? What do you mean by the word globalization? Liberalization means ending the license raj, opening more sectors of the economy to the private players. What do you mean by privatization? Sale of PSUs, the sale of government stake. And what do you mean by globalization? Connecting the Indian economy with the world economy. Right? This is the meaning of liberalization. इन तीनों words पे answer होगा इसका 1991 की policy का. 2018 की policy का, we are already in the era of liberalization, privatization, globalization, and therefore the focus will be on the jobs and skill development. बहुत ही आसान है. Getting it? So we'll meet tomorrow then.